Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Amanda, and this is going to be my first video of this type, and I'm going to be sharing with you guys what we are doing for our Charlotte Mason inspired preschool this year. And the only qualifications I have on homeschooling is that I was personally homeschooled my whole school career, and I was able to get into college early and get my bachelor's degree. So I'm a huge advocate for homeschooling, and I'm so thankful that we will be able to homeschool our children for as long as they want to. So we're starting out this year. My daughter, she's only 3.5. So when I say school, I mean that very, very loosely. I am not pushing academia at all. We are mostly focusing on play, spending time in nature and all that, but I'll get into that. But I am kind of following the Charlotte Mason pedagogy for now. I'm definitely following in the Charlotte Mason footsteps, as well as Montessori, things like that. So I've read some of these books and done a lot of research on this style of learning and teaching. So that's really where my heart and mind is at. But I just want to show you what we're kind of working with for this semester, or this school year, you might say. Although I do believe that learning is all the time, not just when you're sitting down to do book work. And that's really something I want to instill in my children, is a love of learning, a love of reading, and just knowing that learning is always happening at every age, at every stage. So let me jump right into what I have put together. And if it's not clear already, I'm a very type A person, so I love organization and kind of structure. And my daughter Maggie, she's the same way. I don't know how William's going to be. He's only 9 months old, so we'll see what his personality shows. But Maggie and I are like firstborn type A personalities. So at least she's on board with the things I want to do for now, and we'll see how that progresses later on. But I did put together myself a little binder already for our school year, like I said. And all it is a little pink binder. I made this on Canva. It says Our Home, Our School, 24 to 25. And inside I have a bunch of page protectors. And on the first page, I just inserted a Bible verse, and I'll read it for you guys because I really feel like it encompasses the Charlotte Mason ideals about learning and about life. And this is from Philippians 4, verse 8. Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things. So that is just the Bible verse I want as our overarching theme for our school. It's just really focusing on the good and the beautiful things that are in the world and putting our minds on that. So I have that on the front page. And then this is kind of where everything started. I found this calendar for August. Now we're into September. But I found a calendar that had a book a day, and also corresponding with the national holidays in the United States. So I just thought that was really fun. And what we did last month was, on certain holidays, we'd celebrate like National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day or National Lighthouse Day. We took a little field trip to a lighthouse. So it kind of gives me like a jumping off point for a theme if we are looking for something extra to do. But otherwise, it's just a book a day, which I go week by week and put these books on hold at the library if they have them. And then if we're looking for something to read that day, along with our huge stack of library books and books that we own, we can pull out the book of the day and just kind of talk about that. So that's my our calendar, and this is from kidminds.org, and I'll link everything in the description of what I'm talking about here. My goals for our preschool, and I got this from the Charlotte Mason Institute's website. This is for 3 to 5-year-olds. The goals are to develop good habits, especially focused on attention, obedience, and truthfulness, to get acquainted with nature, to explore with the 5 senses, to grow in their spiritual lives, and to play outdoors. So that is my goal. Notice there is nothing about learning ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. That stuff does come naturally, and we are doing puzzles and things like that, but that's not my focus. My focus is more on developing Maggie and myself as people. I feel like we already do these naturally since she was born, such as playing outdoors. We're doing the 1,000 hours outside challenge this year, exploring with the 5 senses. We've always done that. Getting acquainted with nature, learning about animals and bugs and insects and weather, all that kind of good stuff. And so we're really focusing now on developing good habits and growing in our spiritual lives. So those are the goals for ages 3 to 5, basically. And then in here I also have some personal things from our local library with events and things like that, which I'm not going to show you just for privacy's sake, but there is a homeschool club and some other things we can attend. And then again, in the back of this binder, I'm just going to collect little things here and there. For example, the lighthouse, I climbed the lighthouse certificate that someone gave her, and I just thought that was really fun to kind of collect little mementos from our school year in here as well. So that's my binder. As far as the books go, we have this beautiful book called What Are You Doing Today, Mother Nature? And for example, I'll show you in September. It has a couple different pages of things, weather events going on in the world. So this one's in Jamaica, the hermit crab's house swap. And this is just a weather event or an event that takes place in September. It's not always about weather, but it just has different things that could be happening. And there's about 4 or 5 per month. So we'll kind of check in with these once a week and read one of these. This book is absolutely gorgeous. Another one that I love is called Slow Down, 50 Mindful Moments in Nature. And I might pull something out of here and read it if we're looking for something else. For example, we have a couple figurines of the life cycle of a frog. So we went to this page and we read about the life cycle of a frog and then had our little animal figurines to go with it. So this is something we might do for science. And all these different things are all about nature and the slow and steady things that happen in nature. So it's just another absolutely gorgeous book. Thank you to my mom for getting these two over the last couple years. So it talks about like shooting stars. There's so many different ones, and you've probably seen this one around, but I really love it. This book I bought myself, and I've been looking at it on thrift books and things, and it has not gone any cheaper than $25, and now I know why, because it is massive. This is Sing a Song of Seasons, a nature poem for each day of the year. And this is a beautiful book with all kinds of different poetry. And let me be clear, poetry is not my thing at all, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be my children's thing or that I shouldn't push myself to enjoy it, because it's just so beautiful and something that I feel like really enhances our school time. So there's a poem for every single day of the year. It just has different themes and different poems, and there's one for each day. And what we have done a couple times is read our poem and then do a watercolor painting that's inspired by the poem, or just paint together outside. That was really fun when we did that. Like one of them was ocean themed, so we did some ocean paintings with watercolor. So this one, I really like having that poem a day. And then for our spiritual side, this book I picked up from thrift books as well. It was only about $5. It's called Thoughts to Make Your Heart Sing. And it's not necessarily poetry per se, but it takes a Bible verse and kind of gives like a poem or a statement or an encouragement based on that Bible verse. And it has some really nice illustrations as well. So just really pretty, very short, and kind of a jumping off point to talk about that subject. You might be saying to yourself, your daughter's 3.5. She is, but she has always paid attention to these things. Like, she has a really good attention span. And if she's not into it, we don't focus too much on it. This is stuff that we could do a little bit here and there. We don't do all of this every day or anything like that, but she does pay attention to these things, and we have some good discussions. And then, of course, the Jesus Storybook Bible. We have a couple different children's type Bibles, but this is the one I'm gravitating toward the most, and we are just going story by story and working our way through. We are just now through to Abraham, just kind of reading a little bit here and there, talking about it, and trying to introduce the spiritual side to her as a child and just trying to explain things to her. And something I love about Charlotte Mason is she says children are born persons. And I'm currently reading Parents and Children, and something she emphasizes is that we need to give children more credit than we do, because they are very intelligent and they are little sponges. So don't assume that your kids, just because they're young, don't understand things. Like, speak to them like they're intelligent beings and they will absorb it. Trust me. And if they don't seem like they are, it could be that they just don't have that outward expression, but that doesn't mean that they're not soaking it all in. So a reminder to myself too is just speaking kindly and speaking with grace, and you never know what they're going to pick up. So assume the best. So yes, I'm currently reading Parents and Children from actual author Charlotte Mason. After I read this one, I'm gonna read Home Education, but I started here because my kids are little. So I figure just start with Parents and Children and then move on to Home Education after this. So those are all the books that we use in the morning time or throughout the day, in addition to all our library books. And of course, we're doing art projects and playing outside and things like that, doing puzzles, and the list goes on and on. But these are the book resources that I'm focusing on. And then the last thing I want to talk about is that we are doing foreign language. So I read in here, and I'm going to read it to you because it was so inspiring to me. And this is really what was the jumping off point for seeking out a foreign language. So this is in Parents and Children, and it says, the family should learn languages and show courtesy abroad. What shall we teach our children? Is there one subject that claims our attention more than another? Yes, there is a subject or class of subjects which has an imperative moral claim upon us. It is the duty of the nation to maintain relations of brotherly kindness with other nations. Therefore, it is the duty of every family, as an integral part of the nation, to be able to hold brotherly speech with the families of other nations as opportunities arise. Therefore, to acquire the speech of neighboring nations is not only to secure an inlet of knowledge and a means of culture, but it is a duty of the higher morality, the morality of the family, which aims at universal brotherhood. Therefore, every family would do well to cultivate 2 languages besides the mother tongue, even in the nursery. Sorry, that's really wordy. But the overarching thing that she talks about in this section is that you should learn 2 languages because it's our moral duty to be in brotherly kindness towards our neighbors, our neighboring countries. So naturally, we're going to be learning Spanish. And if we choose to do a second language, we will learn French because in Canada they speak French in some regions, but Spanish in this part of our country is just the second language that most people speak. So we have found a free class that we've been attending, and it has been so wonderful and so inspirational and such a good jumping off point because we've gotten a lot of bilingual kids books that we're reading throughout the week, listening to bilingual nature podcasts, and singing songs and listening to songs in Spanish. And it has just been so great because I never learned Spanish growing up. I learned American Sign Language as my foreign language or my second language. So I am so excited to be learning Spanish along with Maggie and William. And it has been so much fun and I'm really enjoying it. But I just thought that was very interesting to put such an emphasis on learning another language because it's your duty to be expanding your mind and to be a good neighbor. So just something to ponder and something to think about. But I think I'm going to end it here because I've been chatting for quite a while. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below. I'll link all the books and resources in the description, including the Spanish Nature podcast, and anything else you guys have questions about. Hit me up on Instagram. I'd love to chat about it. And like I said, this is not everything we're doing, but this is like the jumping off point. So I hope you enjoyed hearing what I'm working on, what we're working through. And if you like this video, please subscribe, and I will hope to see you in the next one. Bye!